Right, a very warm welcome to West Nile Television. This is the Kokoliriko show that comes every Monday to Friday from the hour of 7 up to the hour of 9 a.m. And I will be having after this show the news in Luburati, that is Eola's, which will be brought to you by Mukila Lawrence and many other things. My name is Federick Dramadri. I've been taking you up to through this through this and the many other stories that we'll be actually discussing with you here, and a lot of issues that we'll be having. Remember, this is where we discuss a lot of foreign affairs and also really what is triggering or what is happening within the country and moving forward what is happening elsewhere. That's where we'll be really glad to have you here up to that hour, and also make sure that you can be able to catch us live from the YouTube channels and other social media platforms, but also most importantly the Zuku channel that we have, and you'll be able to really get us live there. And also the most important thing is to share with us what you have and also what you feel like to be sharing with us on the show. And if you have any business to transact with the management of the television, it's easy for you now, and you can be able to reach them through the email account or email address that they have, which is West Nile TV station at gmail.com. That's where you'll be able to reach officially to the management of this television, and make sure that you'll be able to advertise your businesses or do any other business that you feel you want to do with the television station. And also, most importantly, you can visit us on Weatherhead Park Lane, that is plot number 38A, which is here in Arua City. And a couple of issues are happening, and remember, the biggest story this country is talking about is the official launch of the national census, which was handled yesterday by the president of the country, who was the chief guest. That is His Excellency Yoweri Museveni Kaguta at Kololo Ceremonial Grounds. And remember, this really kickstarts the activities of counting, okay, physical counting of doing the fresh census. This is after the 2014 census, which was conducted, and remember, we have been all the time referring to that census, and many people might have died, many people might have reproduced, and so on. This is where really we will be able to have a lot of says about this. What does this census mean to you and me, and also what this really creates for the people in terms of opportunities, in terms of financing. Is the money available? That's one other big story there we should be able to follow up seriously, and we'll be having this here. I will not be alone, but you'll be the other panelists that will be having here, if you are able to really comment or share your views, and that will be very important. Remember, there are other issues around the globe that will be really digesting here. Remember, here the Swedish government has withdrawn funding for Uganda's social protection interventions, and this is one other scaring story that is actually running. And remember, this was actually communicated by the Secretary for Humanitarian and Resilience in Uganda. That is Gusson Linkfborg, who was here representing the embassy, the Swedish embassy to Uganda. That was held here in Arua City. And remember, this pronouncement was made at Desert Breeze Hotel in Arua City, and this actually has created a lot of panic when the economy is actually grappling with the demand, overwhelming demand to finance social protection interventions. Remember, a lot of issues around Uganda's GDP that is used to finance social protection. And remember, these are things that need really urgent attention. The vulnerability of most of the Ugandans is actually rated at 79%. This is according to World Bank, which is actually trickling down to the maintenance of the low income status of this country, where many people remain vulnerable, and even that 37% of the rural poor that is said to have not even benefited from any of the much programs of government is one thing that is tailored to be addressed through the social protection interventions. I will be moving to that story and also many others that will be discussed. And remember, over 1,000 teachers have died in the past 3 years, and there is a likelihood of teacher shortage that is expected to be by 2025, which many of the stakeholders are saying government has not paid much attention to teacher recruitment and also improving the welfare of teachers, which is also one of the issues making many teachers opt out of the profession and move for other greener pastures elsewhere. Remember, most of the teachers are said to be border borders and border riders, and many of them have gone into private businesses. And this is another issue that will be actually moving away from, before we move away from Uganda. Remember, Omeme is actually transiting the delivery of services. You remember the people from Kulu, people from Lango and the Story sub-regions have been coming to some parts of Western region up to Adjuman and Moyo, get tap actual power from Omeme. And Omeme is actually exiting by 2024, actually 2025, and they are looking at spending 498 billion Ugandan shillings before they exit, and they say this is actually part of their commitment that they signed with the government to deliver power or services to the people in northern Uganda. And that's one other issue that is happening there. A lot is happening in the country, but most importantly, keep it locked at Western television, that you'll be able to really get most of these stories that are coming on your way, and we'll be having others that are coming from elsewhere. Remember, South Africa has actually confirmed one case of cholera outbreak in Nelson Mandela Bay, that is there in that municipality in South Africa. And remember, there are issues about contaminated water that is consumed by people, but otherwise the issues of waste management is said to be the cause of this outbreak. And one woman has been confirmed positive, and many others are yet to be really screened. Okay, that is one thing that is happening across the board, and many others that are happening elsewhere. Remember, the list of countries, African countries that have overwhelming debt burden has been released, and in the top on the top 10, Uganda is not there. So don't be surprised why this is happening. It is Egypt that is actually top on the lock, and many other countries follow suit. So we should be really looking at what we should be doing to even reduce more the debt burden the countries having. And this report was released on Monday by the International Monetary Fund. So if you have any doubt, you can go back and really check it from there and be able to really be updated from those kind of stories there. And many other issues that we'll be moving to. And remember, most importantly is what you can be able to get from here and be able to understand. Remember, this show is where you are able to get a lot of issues that are there, and also be able to be educated, be able to able to see where you see there's an opportunity, be able to see where there are challenges and how they are being addressed by different players, and also how best we can be able to develop our country together. Remember, that is the main objective of being a platform, okay, here to you, and also be able to understand what is actually happening elsewhere. It's very, very important to have all this. And once you are traveling or doing anything, there are so many platforms now that you can be able to follow this television, and it makes it easier for you not to be really just waiting to see what is happening, but you can keep doing your work as you pay attention, as you keep doing the watching, okay, doing what is happening up elsewhere and so on, and that is very, very important for you. And for those of you who are watching us within Arroyo City, we say thank you very, very much, and that is what we hope you should be doing, and also we appreciate that every time this is done, we do it together with you, and we don't regret living or going or moving alone. Okay, we need people to move with us. We need to move together. We need to develop this region together, and that's where we should be able to team together to do this together. And a lot of things happen in the town, and also many others. We have seen that a number of people are purportedly seen to be the vendors on the streets are really becoming really the causes of accidents. We have seen a lot of this happening along Diofe Pazul Road, that is from this side of the hospital junction. Okay, now if you are heading to a Diofe trading center from around social center, that's where you will be able to really get so many of these people venting a lot of things from the market. Okay, from the main market, they have come on the streets. Every evening you see this street really looking very, very disorganized, and many people fail to see where they can park, and even the pedestrians do not know where to really pass, and that's one big issue that the authorities should be able to address. It's not really good to look to see roads that are tarmacked really being contested by vendors, even food stuff being put by the roadside and so on. It's quite dangerous to the health of the people, but not only to the people, but also looking at the issues of tax evasion. You realize that these people come to transact businesses in the wee hours of the evening, okay, from evening up to really something like 10 p.m. You see that? That is what is happening there. And I hope the authorities in the city will be able to address that soon, okay? Since we are coming to the festive season, you realize that many people, because of anxiety, because of maybe too much excitement and so on, they tend to easily lose their focus of driving or riding, and they tend to overspeed and so on. Sometimes you can be easily knocked by the roadside when you are actually selling some of these things. It's not health-wise good, and also it's not really good in terms of your safety. This is very, very bad. But also the city is actually losing a lot of taxes through this kind of street vending, but also making the town actually dirty in terms of garbage management. There are no skips around these people, but also if you look at where most of them are doing these businesses, these are people who have been in offices, these are people who have been doing other businesses during the day, but you find them doing many of that kind of venting on the streets. And that is not the only one. If you are also heading to around the Rhino Camp Road roundabout, if you reach around Oil Well, you will find that that is the same situation from this part of the street. But also if you move to along the walls of the hospital, around the hospital gate up to the downstrip, okay, the hospital road, which is seen there opposite Bank of Uganda and Stampic Bank, is where you'll be able to see a lot of vendors pouring on the streets in the evenings. So this is something I think we need to take keen interest in looking at addressing, because really if people are coming to sell on the street and these are food stuff, then we are consuming dirty food, that actual food that is contaminated, polluted, and also that is full of dust, including germs. Where they're putting this, their pavements, their water drainages, and so on, lines that can easily be able to be dangerous to human health. And that is where really we need to focus so keenly in addressing some of those areas that we could be able to talk about. But also the city authorities, much as the government hours of operations during the day up to the hour of 5 p.m., but we could be having other emergency enforcements done. This will be able to address the loopholes that are seen in some of these towns, okay, where we are not able to recover some of the money from people in terms of taxes, but also many other things that we can't be able to see from there. But also, if you move to Kampala, it's the same situation where you see a lot of street vending, where you see a lot of people pouring on the streets, even in taxi parks to do business at night. And it's not healthy when you put such food stuff down, okay? And maybe if you cover it well and you move with it, it's somehow better than really putting it on the floor when it is not even covered. We have seen a lot of this, including eggs, bananas, and many others, fruits that are sold well, they are not covered. Even some people sell other food stuff that needed really thorough washing, thorough care before you sell them to other people, and that's very, very important. But also, let's move away from that part of the city, but moving forward to other districts, Maracha, Terego, and Mariokolo, and also not forgetting Koboko, where we'll be seeing a lot of activities taking place today in Koboko municipality. Remember the issues of the cultural gala, that is International Cultural Gala, organized by SESI, that is a community empowerment for innovation creation. That is one big thing that they're doing there. And you realize that many cultural beliefs, okay, I mean the cultural institutions, the Lugbara, the Kakwa, the Nweri, the Dingas, and the Congolese Zandes and Shon will be showcasing their cultural talents there in Koboko municipality. So this is tailored towards addressing the gap that exists between the refugees and the host communities, but also the asylum seekers who have found themselves in the urban settings, especially in Koboko municipality. And this will officially be graced by the ambassador for South Sudan to Uganda, who will be available in Koboko municipality to see that this event kickstarts. And some of the biggest dignitaries will be Lugbara Kari, who will be representing the cultural institution that is in Uganda, but also the Kakwa community, the cultural leader, the paramount chief of the Kakwa will be also the biggest passion there in terms of the cultural leadership in Western region. And we will see this going up to tomorrow, and that is what is happening there in Koboko municipality. It's a very interesting thing to really see that the host communities are really friendly to the refugees and also the asylum seekers that we have in this country. But also, this has been the holistic nature of appreciating or really welcoming visitors to Uganda. We have seen this happening for quite a long period of time. We saw this from the year 1992 up to now. We have seen no refugee maybe forced to move to their home countries. Okay, that is a very, very interesting part of the journey you will be able to see in Western region, where Uganda has been able to accommodate for over more than 30 years or 20 plus refugees here in this country, and we have not seen them being evicted just like we are seeing or repatriated from wherever they have been coming from and also where they are residing. And we have seen this happen in some parts of the world, but in Uganda, it's the contrary. And that's the beauty that we have in the Pearl of Africa that we see that is happening here. And also, many other districts are doing different things that we see in Yajuma and Moyo and Obongi, not forgetting Yumbe district, where we have a lot of issues happening there. The into-residual spray is on in some of these districts, including Terego, where you see a lot of VSTs and also the trained personnel who rolled out the into-residual spray in September this year doing it again. Actually, September last year, doing it again this year, this month, that is December. And this is to to also move on with the efforts of eradicating malaria spread in the communities. But also not forgetting those from Aluru sub-region, that is the people from Pakwach, Nebi and Zombo, and not forgetting those from Lango and the Churu sub-regions, and also the eastern part of this country, where we don't forget our friends that is that's based in the regional city of Soroti. Robert is there, and I do appreciate you people who are doing a lot of journalism in that part of the region. And also in Hoima, I have Robert Toire, but also I have many other friends who are based in Hoima, by the way. And these are people who are really so much concerned with issues affecting the communities. And remember, the issues of the drilling of oil from Hoima is one thing that will be starting soon. And the Albertan Rift is so keen, observant, and also I hope the local communities are being absorbed into the employment sector. If you have not really been able to tap those opportunities, run to school now and upgrade and do a lot of things to do with the oil and gas sector, but also many others like engineering and also many other areas. People will be employed in different fields. So we should be able to tap those opportunities. In Kampala, that is the central region, don't forget a lot of friends that I have that side, and also those from also the western, where we have so many activities happening. And moving forward, there are a lot of stories across the board. I remember the meeting, the regional meeting, consultative meeting, and also review meetings for the projects under the Swedish government that we are financed under the Swedish government, that were implemented by UNHCR and also the World Food Program, including UNICEF and Save the Children, are coming to an end. This is after a pronouncement by the Secretary for Humanitarian and Resilience in Uganda, that is from the Swedish Embassy at Kampala, that actually said the issues to do with financing social protection in Uganda comes to an end by the end of this project, which is coming to close by the end of this month, okay? This month, this year, and the activities will be closed. Most of the projects that have been financed included the Nutricas, which was actually focusing on addressing the issues of promoting maternal child health, and also ensuring that the pregnant mothers are able to really move for antenatal services. And remember, this comes at a time when Uganda was experiencing really the adverse effects of the COVID-19 outbreak that was in the country, which was in 2020. But the projects commenced in 2021, March, and they are expected to end by December 30th of 2023. And this included giving cash to the pregnant mothers and also the breastfeeding mothers on monthly basis. And remember, every mother used to has been receiving 46,000 Ugandan shillings, and a part of this money is actually saved. And at the end of the day, they actually find themselves going home with 30,000 Ugandan shillings. So monthly, they have been doing savings of 16,000 Ugandan shillings, and this is expected to increase the mothers interacting with each other and also sharing experiences. And then there are reported cases of single parenting, where mothers find themselves doing it alone, or fathers find themselves doing it alone. So this is to bridge that gap and also increase on the issues of nutrition status of the children and also the mothers. And this is for mothers who have babies below the age of 2 years. So this has been able to address a lot of issues of nutritional challenges. But if you look at the aspects of how the project has been able to impact in the lives of the people, and remember, this project was rolled into the districts of Terego, Yumbe, Jumani, Obunki, and Moyo, and also not forgetting Madiokolo and the district of Koboko and Arua district. And these are districts that benefited under the program, and the beneficiaries, over 3 million beneficiaries, were able to benefit from this program. And from the program, you realize that many mothers testified that actually they have been able to start up small businesses to keep their homes running, but also many of them have been able to improve on the livelihood of their families, and also made sure that their children, their babies, are able to have the best nutritional status of their children. And this is one thing that has been able to be achieved through this program. But also not forgetting the aspect of improving facilities attending to mothers. The issues of ANC, that is antenatal care, where mothers have to go for antenatal services at the health facilities, has improved in most of these districts. But also looking at the issues of capacity building for health workers in terms of diagnosis of malnutrition related cases, but also the issues of dieting, employing or educating the mothers about balanced diet, how they should be able to use the available local foods to improve the health of their children is another issue. And under this project, there were a lot of health facilities that have been able to get equipment, that have been able to get personnel, and also many other people have been able to really been transformed from this kind of project. There has been a reduction in number of children succumbing to malnutrition in the region, and this is one thing that is there. And remember, the Swedish government injected $50 million into this project, and this is worth 185 billion Ugandan shillings that went into these districts for these interventions. And that is another critical issue that is actually happening currently. And what is the fate of this project? And the Swedish government has now guided through the secretary, that is Gustav, that the government of Uganda has to actually venture so much into financing the social protection, but also pick a leaf from the approach of integrated approach of implementing the project, where you see Save the Children, World Food Program, and UNICEF all coming together to do it for the country. And that should be the approach that should be used to deliver services under social protection. And according to the secretary, that is Gustav, he has witnessed that there's transparency and there's accountability on everything that has been done. And he appreciates the efforts that have been put by the partners, but also the MDAs, and that is the ministries, departments, and agencies that have been able to be part and passion of this program, including the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and the agencies that include but not listed, but not limited to those in health, those in other sectors that have been able to team up in this, and that the government should be able to utilize the available structures already established to deliver social protection interventions which are of value. But also the UNICEF chief of the chief of policy at UNICEF, that is Moses, actually explained so gravely that most of the people in Uganda have still remained vulnerable, including the children, the young people, and also the mothers themselves. And he has actually been able to highlight that there's need to address that. If that approach is not really brought to the people, and also if there is no urgent attention drawn to address the issues of social protection in the country. We'll be having dwarfs in the country, children who are mentally sick, children who are retarded in growth, children who are stunted, children who are not able to be better leaders, great thinkers in this country will be what will be seen in the future to come, okay, if we are not really able to prioritize social protection. But also recently, you remember the parliamentary visit, okay, the parliamentary committee on social protection's visit to West Nile actually proved that a lot has not been really done so much in terms of financing social protection in the country. This was actually communicated by the chairperson, that is Flavia Kabayenta, who actually said government is really, her priorities are not really so much into social protection, and it is only just less than 6% of the GDP that has been allocated for social protection interventions. And she says we are doing badly in the Horn of Africa in terms of financing social protection, and this should be one great thing that we should be able to really now prioritize if we want to be independent, and really say that really we want to move away from extremism of the various issues, talk about poverty and talk about many other things that are really tailored towards bringing the people to middle income status. And the World Bank says 79% of the Ugandans cannot really be able to afford to reach 8,000 per day. That is poverty line bar, which is there to weigh the wealthy or the economy of the country, whether it is growing or not. And most of the Ugandans are getting a monthly or daily savings of less than 8,000. That means there's a lot that we have to do if we want to really move away from the poverty that we're always talking about, that we're always really thinking about. We saw government coming up with so many interventions that are geared towards eradicating people from poverty and also wealth creation. But what has happened at the use of implementation? This is where the donors are actually saying there are a lot of gaps in implementing the social protection interventions, but they have been able to appreciate that government is actually on the right track in following up the social protection interventions that they are putting, and also are trying to create opportunities that can be able to push people towards the sides of moving away from poverty, and aiding them towards moving away from vulnerability, but also be able to establish themselves as self-employees, as self-persons who can be able to stand alone. And this is what is actually being said there. And they said actually the problem with Uganda is that the approach of implementing the social protection interventions. Let's take a break from here. We'll be actually coming back to other issues, but in the due course, if we have a guest, we'll be able to bring him or her live here later on. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTime's upgrade to Kongere promotion. Nova customers on satellite decoder simply pay 20,000 shillings special bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy smart bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Okay, welcome back from that commercial break. Earlier on, we were discussing the issues of the donors withdrawing. You remember, this is not the first time we're seeing donors pulling out and also projects ending. Okay, that is one thing. It should not be surprising that we may not be having so much external financing from the donors. This is due to the overwhelming demand for aid across the world. And also you have been able to see that many countries need support from the foreign aid and also really a lot of things that are happening elsewhere. And you have been able to see that wars, coups and so on, conflicts elsewhere, also internally in different countries are happening. But the issues of social protection is really key in addressing the challenges of the people. Remember, it's not really good to leave people in that kind of situation where most of them appear to be vulnerable, and yet you want to really push the country somehow better, in a better state. So that's one thing we should be able to really look at. And there are so many donors who have come, who have also been able to leave this country, and it has not left the country into a dire state, but we should be able to really prioritize some of these financing aspects, some of these things that have developed. Where have we gone wrong? When some of the projects we have been able to establish to address the gaps that exist between the rich and the poor in this country, where have we gone wrong in terms of maybe moving on with some of these projects? We should be able to evaluate some of those to ensure that we are able to be at par in as far as addressing the needs is concerned. I may never know. Some of these projects do not reach the people. That's why the vulnerability continues to be at a higher alert. Much as we're talking about now, the 37% of the rural poor, we are still seeing that even the urban poor is becoming more insecure in terms of the moods in the towns, in the urban centers, where you see a lot of people into dubious activities like burglary, into other activities that are not really doing well in terms of the security of the people. Remember, a hungry person can easily steal, can easily fight, can easily kill, and that's one of the insecurities that we'll be having, that you may not know in widespread, but it happens. There are a number of cases of GBV, that's gender-based violence, that we're seeing, and this is coming just because of the issues of self-reliance. Okay, people are not really independent. People are just depending on others, and in a family you will realize that maybe the breadwinner is only one. So that's one big case that we should be able to really look at if we want to move further, if we want to really address the gaps from really all the time waiting for resources from the foreigners or the international organizations. We should be able to really address some of those gaps as we focus on raising revenue, incomes, and so on. I mean, taxes in this country. As URI achieves the targets, let's also prioritize social protection interventions in this country. But as we're prioritizing them, who are these people in the implementation stage? What are they doing? How do they move with the implementation of these projects? That is one thing we should now be drawing our attention to. And also, who are the beneficiaries that we have on these projects? Are they able to really appreciate what they have? Is one other thing that we should be able to really look at very, very keenly as we move on with the social protection interventions. But slightly away from that, I told you earlier on the issues of census across the country is commencing soon, and also from the launch that we showed yesterday by the president of this country. Remember, a lot of issues came up. The issues of people being at their homes is another issue. Will you be there when they are counting is another issue. So you must make sure that you be counted in, and that is the slogan now we have. And make sure that you are counted in when they are counting others. And remember, if you are not counted, you are not really budgeted for in this country. That means when they are bringing drugs and you happen to also go and receive those drugs, you are actually receiving other people's drugs. And when they are maybe educating children in the class, and you happen to be one of the children or the students in the class, you happen to be really actually robbing resources from other people that are supposed to go for other people. And that's one thing that we should be able to really see seriously. So we should be able to make sure that we are counted, but also this comes as an opportunity for those who completed Senior 6 ready to get jobs. And there is provision for recruitment, for enumerators, for supervisors, and many other people that will be there doing those technical counting. And this will be from the months of May, okay? That is one thing. The recruitment processes may start soon when the adverts come through, and we have seen a lot of fake adverts coming up, so we should be keen where you are getting the information from. Don't really send your CVs and also accounts to different platforms that you don't know the backgrounds from. And let's wait for the official announcements from UBOS, that is the statutory organ that is there to really champion the issues of census in this country. Remember, we last did census in 2014, and this will be the 10th year coming, and we need to do another one. That head counting and also many other things that they will be asking. So let's not really fear, let's not hide other facts that we have about ourselves, especially the issues of AIDS, the issues of the number of children, the number of wives, women you have, and the number of husbands you have. There are some women who have also different partners that they call their husbands and so on. You should be able to mention, okay? It's very, very important. But also the number of children you have, those are questions that are likely to be coming. But I'm not saying those are the only questions. Including the number of pets you have is another issue. They'll be also writing those for future reference as well. They are planning to vaccinate animals. Remember, the vaccines are also counted, or they are also calculated from the census that is conducted. So they'll be able to know that how many dogs we have in the country, how many maybe cats we have, how many chicken, and also goats, cow, and also many other things. That will be also counted in there. But also the type of housing you are in, is it a permanent, a temporary, and many other things that will be there. But the most important thing is be there when they are counting the people. And also maybe the enumerators, let's not really forge or let's not really miss out other people because we have other issues with them. If you know that you are not going to perform in this area because there are people you are in conflict with, please reserve your conflict of interest, declare it to your supervisors. You should be taken to another area so that you do your work diligently, okay? The conflict of interest has been one of the issues that have been affecting the issues of transparency and accountability in most of the areas of performance, okay? When people are given duties to perform, but because they feel like so-and-so should not benefit, they tend to really make sure that they sideline some people in terms of service delivery. And this affects the performance of government. Now, when you exaggerate figures or when you under-declare figures, it affects planning. And that's one biggest issue that we'll be having. So we should be able to really look at such things seriously and be able to address them keenly. And that's one area that we should be able to see in as far as we're training some of these enumerators to go out to do the counting, but also the supervisors. Be there and really move to the field and see whether these people are really moving to the field and see whether these people are doing the rightful work. We have seen many people seated at their compound and they assume that so-and-so has 5 children and they begin listing them. That is very, very wrong. Go to the homes and do the physical counting and do a detailed analysis of what is happening at every home state. And that's very, very important that we should be able to really see being done in the country to avoid this mess of what we saw in the newly created cities, where they have been using the figures from 2014 when these regional cities were municipalities. And what happens now is because of the amalgamation of many of the sub-counties into the city that have formed other divisions, you realize that many people have not been able to get or have not been able to enjoy the services that are delivered at these regional cities. And this has become like a issue of saying that we're not benefiting from a city, we rather go back to our district status where we used to have a lot of opportunities to benefit from. And that is one thing that is actually happening there. We'll be really moving forth and really to see how this will be executed. Remember, there were a lot of issues around financing the census. And remember, this doubt was cleared yesterday that arrangements have been done to ensure that this money is actually given to UBOS to move on with the activity. And that is one thing there we should be able to now really be happy of, because really if we miss out now, we should be also waiting for another 10 years to come. That means we'll be counting people after 20 years. We'll be having a lot of mess, and also it affects our performance in terms of service delivery, because we will not be able to reach every person because we have figures that are really outdated. So it's good to update them, and also it's good to be counted as a Ugandan, really to see that you are really catered for in terms of service provision. But also this counting will not spare out the asylum seekers and the refugees that we have. So don't run away when they are coming to your home, especially those refugees that we have, but also the asylum seekers that we are accommodating with us in the regional cities and also in some of the settlements that we have across the country. So that's one issue there that we should be able to really look at very, very keenly as we move forward in seeing that the national census is conducted in 2024, and that is very, very important. And soon, shortly after this launch, we show the Nigeria-Uganda partnership already coming in, where the president actually said the cultural leaders should be able to impress that kind of resilience and be able to really have that kind of move to bridge the gap between countries. We have seen so many countries, especially Nigeria, which is under ECOWAS, the Western African member states, and also Uganda, which is an East African member states. They didn't have any connection at all. And the challenge has been also the issues of the flights, and this has been really already bridged. The Uganda Airlines is free to now cross to Nigeria, and also the Nigerian Airlines will be able to access the international airport, that is Entebbe, for the businesses that will be done between Uganda and Nigeria. And this is actually a move to ensure that market is widened, but also the common products that Uganda has are actually taken to Nigeria for marketing. And this is another great opportunity for Ugandans to tap into. But I'm moving away shortly from that story. The issues of teacher shortage is one worrying factor that is coming in right now. And we have seen statistics showing that at least 1,000 teachers have died in the past 3 years. And this is a report from the Uganda National Teachers Union, which we are seeing right now. And if you look at that statistics, you will realize that most of the teachers have been dying because of depression, stress, and many other things that are coming. And this is coming due to the overwhelming burden on the teachers that is coming from the financial implication. Remember, teacher welfare is one thing that is bringing all this. Many teachers are saying that they are being underpaid in terms of looking at all the professions in Uganda, and also looking at other the recent upgrading of some teachers to earn bigger salaries, especially those who are said to be the science teachers. And this has created a big gap in terms of bridging or reuniting the teachers for a common goal. And this has been one thing that is affecting the teachers. And now, if you look at that statistic breakdown, the incidences have been really so bad. If you look at the statistics from 2021, in 2021 was the greatest number of teachers who died. I remember that was during COVID-19, where schools were closed, and many teachers were engaged in border work. Their salaries were not coming in time, and also that was the subsequent time government opted to pronounce herself on the increment of salary for science teachers. And this really brought a lot of stress for those doing arts, where a lot of funny movies, videos were moving all around social media about some science teachers just boosting or bullying arts teachers on how much they are earning, and also telling others that actually you are nothing in this profession. You see that those kind of words really scare some people. They feel like they have not done enough. And but the issues of multiple borrowing, the loans have been the issues that are shaping a lot of depression issues among the teachers. Many teachers have borrowed a lot of loans, and also many of them have failed to be able to really offset those loans, and this really brought a lot of issues where teachers were not able to earn some good amount of salary or a good amount of monies from the monies that are paid by government. So this leaves the teachers in hanging in terms of savings, in terms of catering for their families. Remember, most of the teachers have children who are supposed to be paid in school, but because of the challenges in their earnings, many of them, their children have not been able to make it. This is because of the irregularities in payment. Remember, sometimes these salaries delay. Sometimes the teachers, because of the low pay, some of them go on the streets to do other businesses. And this is where really many are actually opting out of the profession. And if you look at the statements from many of the stakeholders, they are actually saying that the teachers do not have where to go now, and most of them have chosen just to voluntarily opt out of the profession, and this without even putting a resignation letter, but also not informing the authorities. You find some of the teachers on the streets or busy doing border work, others doing their shop or retail shop, and also many other businesses that they feel like they can be able to earn some living from. And this is one thing that is actually happening across the country now. If teachers are dying and they are not being replaced, is another challenge that will be seen. And the experts anticipate that there will be teacher shortage by 2025. This is if a government does not really open the eyes in terms of adding more teachers, replacing those who have died, and also replacing those who have voluntarily resigned from duties. And this is one thing there that is really serious that will be seen. We have seen that in terms of the quality of education, Uganda has not been able to really do it better in terms of performance across the world. You saw the statistics really wanting that we are at number 166 out of 195 countries across the world. And if you look at that statistics, it is attributed to the failure by government to implement the teacher policy that actually clearly talks about the welfare of the teachers, the working environment, the issues of also addressing the parent, teacher, and student or children relationship, and also having infrastructures established. Remember, the teacher policy is clear about the working environment of the teacher, the accommodation issues, and also the issues to do with the issues to do with how the salaries of the teachers should be really done. You remember, the teacher policy provides that teachers be able to be given uniform salary, and the least teacher paid should be having 4 million Ugandan shillings in his bank account monthly, and this is what is stipulated in the teacher policy. But the contrary is being done when now government has increased or enhanced the salary of science teachers, where the science teachers are getting at least 4 million Ugandan shillings, yet the arts teachers from universities up to down, that is in primary schools, getting 526,000 Ugandan shillings. And this is one thing that has brought a lot of fights among the teachers. Now you see this affects the performance of the teachers, and also many of them get demoralized. They don't want to enter the classes, or even if they enter, they don't give adequate time for the learners to really be able to get something from the teachers. But you look at the issues of teachers giving extra time for the learners to consult him or her. It's no longer there now. You see a teacher goes at a time when he's actually supposed to conduct lectures or lessons. Now when he enters, he comes out immediately, he's on a border on the streets, and that's what is happening now. Much as the issues of fingerprints have been established to ensure that teachers are monitored, many have claimed that there are no networks, there is no power to charge the phone, and so on. This now brings back the issue of really following up teachers closely to really down. Okay, that is one thing there that is actually affecting the performance of education or the quality of education in Uganda. So the gaps that have been created in terms of empowering teachers, facilitating them, and also in terms of improving their working environment is another thing that is actually not really rhyming with the activities that we want to propel in terms of improving education. So teacher shortage, we need to address it if you want to really go very far. But also, if you look at the quality of the learners who are coming from the government schools that we see now, and you compare it with the private schools, it's quite perturbing. In terms of even speaking English is another issue. Well, a learner cannot even construct a one-way sentence that is clearly understood by any person who maybe is there, who knows English. Is a very difficult thing to really talk about. So it's up to the stakeholders, especially the parliamentarians, to really advocate for that, to ensure that there's balanced appropriation of salaries, but also the education system or the education financing is actually increased in this country if we want to improve the quality of education in this country. That is one big thing that we can be able to do as a country, as a region, as really, if we want to really perform better, if we want to see other countries learning from us. Okay, we have seen a lot of improvements. We show where partners were able to come in, especially in the refugee hosting districts. We show some infrastructures established, but this was not really all that great. Much as yesterday we show government releasing the list of institutions, new institutions, that schools that are to be constructed. We have seen most of our districts in this region have not been catered for in that. We show Bongi, which is going to have two new schools constructed. Terego district will be having one school, seed school that will be constructed. Arua City will be having 2 of them, and will be having also Madiokolo having 3 schools be constructed, and many others, including Yumbe, that will be having 1 school constructed. And those are really the ones that are going to benefit, including Moyo, that will have 2 of them. And if you look at most of these districts in Western region, they have been really grappling with the issues of staff in terms of the teachers. The teachers are not there really so much in schools, but also, and if you look at the structures, most of them are dilapidated. But I would feel like maybe if government stops establishing seed schools, but we improve the available structures in these schools that we have. The schools that we have, we go ahead just to improve the structures. It will be really going a long way in addressing that challenge. If we go and construct really new schools, it means we'll be really injecting more money into actually really refurbishing what is available, or really fixing the gaps that exist in some of these schools. Really, some of the schools are really in dire state in need of really more structures. But also, if you look at the issues of the environment, most of the school compounds are being eaten up by land grabbers. I mean, the lands are being claimed by the grabbers just because the schools do not have really authentic documents to safeguard their land. And this is one thing the government needs to address if we want to really move further. We have government officials that are there, but also other officials at the schools. The schools management board, the talk about the PTA and many other stakeholders who are responsible for managing these schools. So we should be able to really have those asset management committees at even school level, so that they are able to really look at what is going wrong. Even sometimes you see that during holidays, termites are eating up desks and people are just watching. So it becomes difficult for you to really move on to see that structures are really managed in a better way. So this is not really about government, but also the stakeholders that are involved in really improving the status of education in these kind of institutions. So that is what we have, and about 146 schools, new institutions, will be established across the country in different districts. So that is it. Let's take a break from here. We'll be able to come back with many other issues right away. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Serve your family the bigger feast this Christmas with StarTimes upgrade to Kongere promotion. Novel customers on antenna decoder simply pay 16,000 shillings, copper bouquet monthly subscription to enjoy basic bouquet for free. Enjoy variety of entertainment including Hello Mr. Right on Makula Chika, Kazanya Kukazanyo on Makula, animations and cartoons on Boeing, series on TLC and Star Life. Even better, we have added all your favorite local channels. So make this the unforgettable holiday. More content, happier family.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that commercial break. I know it has been a very good one for you there, but also I'm here enjoying a lot of things that are happening. I'm seeing a lot of messages, and I appreciate you for those messages. And those of you who are watching us in the diaspora, I mean people from Canada, Senegal, who have been able to really send to me a lot of interesting comments. Last evening, I said thank you very, very much. I salute you, and many platforms are there for you to really get this show. And I'll be taking you up to the hour of 9 a.m. That will be the time when Feta Emmanuel will be coming up with the news in Lubarati, that is Eyola's. And the team behind him is Faris Majid, Mukla Lawrence, and many others. Not forgetting Christine Okomoringa, who is there, the team leader for the news department, and also many others who are contributing a lot there. We appreciate you for that work well done, and we hope that very great stories are coming there for the Lugbara speakers and those who are able to understand Lugara very, very well. And we're still discussing a lot of issues in the sector of education, where over 1,000 teachers really lost their lives in just a couple of 3 years. And this is one thing that we say really it's very unfortunate. We know death does not really leave anyone behind, but it's very, very important to replace those we have really missed out, okay? But also the issues of caring about the teachers. Remember, during the World Teachers Day, a number of teachers were able to really speak out and say the local governments are not even supporting them in carrying even the dead body of the teacher. This is so quite unfortunate. Can we really pay courtesy to these teachers? These are people who have been able to nurture everyone in this country. Whether you are a cleaner who is sweeping, who is maybe cleaning the compound, who is cleaning the rooms and so on, you have been taught by someone. That person is a teacher. He or she needs a respect. Whether you are a cook, for you to put the best salt, you have been taught by someone, then that person deserves a very full respect. So we need to look at those kind of things. The profession is there, but we've seen so many people really opting out of it. And really, government needs to draw focus on this and how to improve this sector. I know the Minister for Education and Sports, that is Miss Janet Mohseven, is there listening and watching this. He or she, actually most of the people under her should be able to really forward this and be able to really make sure that more money is injected in the sector of education, so that we have this country really glittering in terms of the quality of education. From the 166th position, if we come up to really 50th, I would say that is really, really great for us as a country on the continent of Africa. And the world at large is quite good when we have really improvements in technology that were already rolling out in the new curriculum. But also many approaches that have been deployed is quite good that we are able to change the curriculum, which many have been appreciating in terms of the commitments that are seen in it. And that's very, very interesting that we should be able to see coming up there. And I already told you that a number of issues are still happening in the country. Remember, the anti-gay law has been, the court hearing has been rescheduled, okay, to be had on the 18th of this month. So that means by Monday we'll be seeing all roads leading to the Constitutional Court, and that will be the time we'll be seeing that. And a panel of 5 judges has been released, and these are the judges that will be there to debate this or to argue this case, okay, to see that the ruling comes out very, very well, and also see what is going to happen. Remember the issues about the penalties that have been included in the law. Remember the law has been able to provide for death penalty for aggravated Homosexuality Act that will be seen in this country. And also the people who have been involved in the homosexuality will be charged for not less than 20 years in jail, and that is what the law provides for. And the petitioners are actually challenging this on different grounds, about 14 of them that have been line listed. And if you have been able to see a lot of stories around this, you realize that people have been able to center their arguments around the issues of consultations, the issues of including the common people, the community views in coming up with the law, but also the issues of giving time to analyze the law, the issues of quorum, and so on, many that have been fronted, including civil societies, including the veterinary journalists, that is Andrew Mwenda, and and one of the members of parliament, that is Fox Odoi, who is there. And also these are people who are saying that, including even a lawyer, a lecturer at Makerere University, who is in the Institute of Law in that department. And also you will see that this will be really, this has been actually been scheduled for 18th of this month, 2023. So we'll be seeing a lot of issues happening there, and be watching what will be in the outcome later on. And that is it. And if you have missed out on that, you'll be following it there next time. But also moving away from now, Uganda crossing to South Africa, that is in the middle income status. Currently we have been able to see that the country has confirmed just yesterday in the evening, confirmed one case of cholera outbreak in the municipality of Nelson Mandela Bay, that is in South Africa. And this case of cholera is seen in a woman aged 49 years, and this woman is believed to have drunk contaminated water that is believed to have feces, okay, a sewage water that has been able to come into the clean water that they have. And actually the government argued that they have been able to have clean source of water throughout the country, but they were really frustrated by this one case that has already been confirmed, and a lot of remedies, or really a lot of efforts have been put to ensure that the case is handled and managed very, very well, and doesn't spread this more. And you remember, cholera can easily be passed from one person to another through the activities that are especially through excretion, okay? When you are maybe defecating openly in water sources, in wear, and so on, even open defecation, when it is, the feces is taken into water, it contaminates the water. So that's where people will be able to take a lot of cholera and many other diseases. But also when you are urinating, you have cholera, you'll be able to urinate some of these germs into the water, and that's where really a lot of people will be really having challenges. So this one person has been taken to the hospital and isolated, and many others have been also taken for screening, especially the close relatives have been taken for screening, and more further information will actually be released later on. That's according to government. But if you look at cholera generally, it has been throughout many countries when we experience a lot of heavy rains coming and so on. For instance, the El Nino that many countries are experiencing comes with a lot of diseases that are of really non-communicable nature. Talk about cholera, typhoid, and diarrhea, dysentery, many others that we may talk about. This is attributed to hygiene and also really your health, and the way you conduct yourself when you are consuming things and so on. That is really what is actually happening in South Africa. So if South Africa is having this, what about other countries? What is happening elsewhere? That is one thing we should be able to really look at if we want to go very, very far in terms of protecting our citizens, in terms of ensuring that our people are able to grow healthy. That's a very important thing we should be able to look at when we want to achieve that healthy population status. Okay, there's a way that the World Bank or World Health Organization weighs countries in terms of the health of the people. Is where really the vulnerability of the people is assessed, but also in terms of the population maturity. Population maturity is looked at in terms of the mental behaviors of the people, the innovations they are creating, the kind of things they do in terms of maybe earnings, people being deriving their own ways of living other than waiting from government, or being self-reliant is one thing that puts the quality of population at a higher stake. So if you have a population that is still crying that government is not doing enough, we are unemployed, we are not eating, I eat once in a day, and so on, that is the unfortunate thing you always see in a population that will be able to have. That means if people are all dependent of on government, the issues of health services may not be appreciated, because a lot of drug shops will be all over in different places. Even looking at the attention of the healthcare workers will be so much demanded, because people's hygiene is not up to date, and that's another key interesting thing that we should be able to do as key stakeholders in improving the hygiene, the health, and also the sanitation at our places of work. So this is very important for us to really work on. And the ICC, I mean the International Criminal Court at Hague, has communicated that the trials against the LRA rebel leader, that is Joseph Kony, is on, and they are continuing to really pester that. And remember, the warrant of arrest was issued on the 23rd of November last year, on the 23rd of November this year, actually not last year, this is 2023. So after issuing this, nobody has come out to say that this is where Kony is hiding, but the trials are going to start on a 23 grounds that have been argued by ICC, and these crimes against humanities and many other crimes that have been put before him, and he's on the look, and no arrest has so far been made, much as the sanctions have been put on different governments that have been said to have been having this rebel leader that has been on the look. Remember, Joseph Kony has had a history of killings and also crimes against humanities that have been committed, especially in northern Uganda, from Lango and the Chol sub-regions up to West Nile region. And this has been really the pathway for his exit, and this affected a lot of development in northern Uganda, and that's why the people in the north have continued to be really low in terms of developments. Okay, the issues of regional balances have not been felt just because many people in the northern part of Uganda have been in exile for quite a long period of time, and they came back when already many other regions have really gone far in terms of development. So this affected a lot of people's mindset change in terms of going forward and capturing other regions that have already developed. Okay, that is why really you see many times when they talk about vulnerable people, they talk about northern Uganda, they talk about the people of West Nile, they talk about the people of Lango, they talk about the people of Choli sub-region, and also those in Karamoja sub-region. And these are really people who have been feeling the impact of the rebel activities. Remember, that was not the only rebel activity or the rebel grouping that has been giving headache in terms of improving this region, but also we had other minor rebel groupings talk about the Western Bank Front and many others that you may mention that have also been giving headache to the governments in power from the start of the Obote's regime and many others coming up to Idi Amin's regime and many others that are able to come. Not until they were flushed out by the president currently, that is His Excellency Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, and many others who tried. And this is really where you see amnesty already taking toll. We saw a number of the ex-combatants and also the people who were in the rebel groupings joining the amnesty group that we have, and also the ex-combatants group, and they have been able to resettle in this region, and that is what is happening now. But also what has remained is the trauma that has been instilled or put in the people in northern Uganda. It has failed to go off. This is because a lot of promises were really put by the current government, that is the NRM government, when he was capturing power, and that's where he was able to win the interest of the people in northern Uganda. So many people are still waiting for the promises that were put by the president of this country, that is His Excellency Yoweri Museveni Kaguta, especially the Corn War victims and also many other massacre groupings that we have in northern Uganda. This is where they are coming from. But also Connie's family is asking for really support, especially the women he left behind, including the children that have been left helpless. And this is what is actually happening now. If you look at the testimonies of some of the survivors of this conflict, you will realize that people are still showing bullet wounds, people are still showing broken legs, people are still showing the graveyards of their ancestors and so on. Many people lost a lot of businesses, many people lost money, many people lost their dear ones, and this is where the issue comes. People still are reminded, because government had given hope that they will be really helped, since they were not up to now able to access the promises that were put or the things that were placed for them. This has continued to be a point of reference, a point of reminders. It comes back to people's minds every time, because they have not been able to get that total peace in terms of resettling them, in terms of psychosocial support, in terms of also giving them livelihood support for them to restart a new journey. And this is where really you see when they are talking, most times people talk while tears are rolling and so on. It's quite perturbing, but I hope that government will be able to answer those pledges that he or she has been able to take from the people. And you remember, once a pledge is there, it becomes something people really wish should happen, because of the entire need of it or its benefit to the people. Remember, resettlement is another good thing that you will ever do for a person who has been suffering conflict, but also the issues of making sure that the psychosocial support is given to all the victims of the LRI war is one thing that will be really of good importance to the survivors in this country. Let's move away from there, and we'll say bye-bye today, and that marks the end of the Kokoliriko show today. We appreciate you who has been following us from the start of the show, very early in the morning from 7 up to this time that will be really ushering in the news in Lubarati, certainly with Fete Manuel. But also behind the camera is Dijon Pro, and also in the production phone, I have Aldo, who is as the producer right now. And my name is Federick Dramadri. Let's catch up again tomorrow for another show, another interesting show that is still the Kokoliriko show, but with different issues that we'll be discussing here. Remember, this is where you can be able to really get what you missed out, but also what is going on in the country. Thank you.